All right, Sandra, let's bring in Danon, former Israeli ambassador to the United Nations. Mr. Ambassador, it's good to have you with us tonight. We really appreciate it. So I want to start with the explosion at this hospital. The Israeli Defense Force insists that it was a Palestinian Islamic Jihad missile. President Biden, when he was in Tel Aviv, agreed with you, and the NSC spokeswoman, Adrienne Watson, seemed to corroborate that with new information from American sources, tweeting out, quote, "While we continue to collect information, our current assessment based on analysis of overhead imagery, intercepts, and open source information is that Israel is not responsible for the explosion at the hospital in Gaza yesterday." But Mr. Ambassador, the Arab world is not buying it. Is there anything more you can do to convince them? Is it even worth it at this point to try?
Well, John, it's not only the Arab world, even the UN itself. Until now, I haven't seen that the Secretary General changed his tweet about what happened. And he still sticks with the false allegations against Israel. Leave aside Rashida Tlaib, who blamed us. I haven't seen any apology coming from her Twitter account. So basically, we have no expectations from them. And, you know, it took us some time to check the facts. And it wasn't easy for us because we knew that Hamas will incite against Israel, and that's what they did. But we took the time to look at all the evidence we had, the footage, and we came to a clear, decisive conclusion that it was a rocket that was launched by Islamic Jihad into Israel, a huge one. Actually, they targeted the city of Haifa, and it fell on the hospital because of malfunction of the rocket. About 1/3 of the rockets of the Islamic Jihad are killing people in Gaza. So I think we should have no expectations. You know, they decide to go against Israel, but we should continue all the way with our determination to eliminate Hamas. I'm sure we're going to have more cases like that in the future. But, you know, we expect our allies to stand with us even when those allegations will continue to come.
As a result of what happened at that hospital last night, Iran has taken it as a reason to rattle the saber more, even to an even greater degree, against Israel, saying that, quote, Israel's time is up, and promising another, quote, shockwave against Israel if Israel continues its operations in Gaza. Do you fear, Mr. Ambassador, that if you go in on the ground in Gaza, Iran will give the go-ahead for Hezbollah to open a northern front?
So as we speak, John, you know, the border with Lebanon and especially Hezbollah is not quiet. We have experienced many serious incidents, including rockets that flew into Israel, and we pay attention to the border. I would advise Hezbollah not to make that mistake. We will not play with them. Lebanon will not look the same if they will join the aggression against Israel. That is not our intention. Our intention is to fight Hamas because the horrible atrocities they committed against us, and they will pay a price. We're going to smash Hamas. We're going to eradicate Hamas. If Hezbollah will join Hamas against Israel, Lebanon will not look the same.
Mr. Ambassador, this region is being described as a tinderbox that could go up in flames at any moment. But it has been described that way before. And while in 1967 and 1973 and a couple of other cases, we did see it go up in flames for a while, it continues. Do you expect that there could be a broader regional conflict here, or will this follow similar cycles as we've seen in the past?
So for many years, John, even in my speeches at the UN, I always spoke about Iran, that they send weapons and funds to their proxies in the region. And once those animals, they have the capabilities, they use it. We don't know when they will use it, but we saw what happened in Gaza. Same with Hezbollah. You know, they acquire so many rockets and missiles, so it's only a matter of time when we will have to face that threat. And I think for the long term, US, Israel, and the democracies of the world will have to stand against Iran because they are in the business of spreading chaos, violence. We have experienced it 10 days ago. We have eventually to face that threat.
Mr. Ambassador, one more quick question, if I could. President Biden, instead of flying home tonight, was supposed to be going to Amman, Jordan, for a quadrilateral summit with King Abdullah, President al-Sisi, and Mahmoud Abbas. That didn't happen because of 3 days of mourning. According to John Kirby, they canceled that meeting. What was that meeting going to be about? Some people were looking at that as potentially those leaders getting together to sketch out a way forward for Gaza after Hamas is eventually gone? What do you know?
Well, I think we have to start to think about the day after, what will happen in Gaza after we eradicate Hamas. We know that the people in Gaza, they suffer under the Hamas's regime. And I think it's now the time to start to think out of the box about the future of the people in Gaza after Hamas. I think it's the right approach. I know it will not be easy. You know, we heard President Sisi speaks about that and the King of Jordan. But I think for the long run, people in the region start to understand that the future in the region will be without Hamas in Gaza.
I wanted to ask you also about the nominee for U.S. Ambassador to Israel, Jack Lew. Some Republican senators are saying that they may not go forward. They may oppose his nomination because of past controversial connections that he has had regarding Iran. What do you say about Lew's nomination? Would you like to see him as the U.S. ambassador to Israel?
So we will not get into your politics, but I would say that we need ambassador here on the ground. We are in a war. We collaborate with our strongest ally, and I think the sooner the U.S. will pick a new ambassador, that will be to the service of the Americans, hostages, to the American families here in Israel, and to the alliance between Israel and the U.S.
All right. Ambassador Danny Danon, good of you to spend time with us tonight, sir. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for everything, John.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.